I learned about colon hydrotherapy several years ago when I was studying in India. So I was having problems with my health. Most of it was hearing problem and digestion problem. So I got to know that colon hydrotherapy could help improve my health. So I visited colonics practitioner there, who told me that not only was it going to improve my digestion, it was going to help improve my hearing as well. I was actually surprised that I could get help from just cleaning my stomach, that I could hear better. So out of that, I got interested. Then I started taking colonics, and actually my hearing started improving. It had gotten to a point where I was hardly hearing at all. But I tried various therapies for cleaning, for hearing, but nothing was helping me much. So with colon hydrotherapy, I realized that I started to hear better. So when I came back to Kenya, I also looked for a colon practitioner here, and that's when I met Beryl. And I continued with more cleansing, and my hearing continued to improve even more, to an extent that right now I'm almost able to hear very well. Although it's not 100% fully, but I hear quite well now. Actually, I would like to say the experience is very comfortable, because even like first time I took it, I was not sure how I was going to feel, because I thought it was going to be very uncomfortable, but it is very, very comfortable. Once the water starts getting in, you actually start to feel the water coming in, and you just like the way you normally feel like when you want to go to the toilet, that's just the same experience. So you feel like releasing, then the machine is automated. It just releases automatically. You don't have to like go to the toilet. It will release itself, but you'll feel that pressure the normal way you'd feel like if you want to go to the toilet, and then the therapist will just release it. Then on and on, you keep on feeling the water, and then they release it. But the process is basically very comfortable. For me, it feels very comfortable all through. And when the process is done, you start to feel light.
Colon hydrotherapy. Now, yesterday I asked a few people if they have ever interacted with this term, and the general answer that I got was, what in the first world problems are these that you are asking us? Most people consider this colon hydrotherapy as a first world problem. What are these you're talking about? But it turns out to be something that all of us can benefit from. Well, to help you and I both understand what colon hydrotherapy is all about, we have with us in studio this morning Beryl Awinja Sakwa, who is a colon hydrotherapist. Good morning, Beryl.
Good morning, Jen. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for making time to be with us.
Yes, thank you also for welcoming me.
Absolutely. Now, first of all, I have someone who already sent me a message asking, what do colon hydrotherapists study in school? Like, what course did you take?
First and foremost, to be a colon hydrotherapist, there are so many things you have to achieve for you to qualify as one.
It's a field of specialization?
Yes, it falls under alternative medicine. So in alternative medicine, you need to understand different diseases and sicknesses or illnesses people face. Yes. Lifestyle conditions, and how to help deal with them or heal them using also alternative medicine, which is like now using water as we use in colon hydrotherapy, or advising on herbal therapies that can be able to help get rid of some of the things that we deal with on daily basis. Okay. If you talk about like constipation, what can I do to a constipated person? If they are seeing a colon hydrotherapist like me, they need to first come and cleanse the system, so that we remove the impacted fecal waste in the system. Okay. And then we also, after that, advise them on what herbal therapies they can do to get rid of such things.
All right. Now let's take a step back and start with the basics. When you talk about colon hydrotherapy, in very simple terms, what are we covering, or what do we mean?
Colon hydrotherapy is basically infusing warm filtered water into the colon. And what is the colon? Many people would not even know that the colon is the large intestine. So we are infusing water into the large intestines practically to help soften and then break loose the compacted colon that could be stuck together and causing us problems of poor bowel function. So by so doing, infusing water and then flushing it out, infusing, allowing it to soften, massaging and then flushing it out helps to cleanse the colon. So that is basically colon hydrotherapy. And how is it introduced?
Yeah, maybe you could give us that a bit of history into it, because you know, just going through the interwebs, it goes way back. And it's surprising that most people do not even know that such a therapy exists. Give us a condensed history of colon hydrotherapy.
Colon hydrotherapy goes back to almost 1500 BCs. And during those times, it was only done by those people who are wealthy. And they would go when they are going to their saunas or they are going to their steam baths. That's when they will do their colon hydrotherapy. They believed that doing colon hydrotherapy helped them be able to think more clearly and have clarity in whatever they want to do. And also, just as you clean the outside, they also cleansed the inside so that they feel more energetic, more rejuvenated, more improved in their health and so forth. That's why the high-class people used to do it. And apparently that has also gone back to this era. And even in 1920, when other doctors were learning more about it and applying it in some medical facilities, we still find that from 1922, right now, 2021, we still have even some doctors who are not practicing it or using it because they don't believe mostly in it. They just believe in alternative medicine might not do so much
or be as effective
as when they're using medicine. But currently now you find that at least the popularity, in as much as people here in Kenya are saying they don't know about it, it was hard for us when we started, me in particular, when I started in 2007, than it is right now. At least right now we have people who are more aware of it, and they will call in and book for an appointment.
All right. Speaking of the Kenyan space, that is where I want us to continue with this discussion. But before we get to do that, I welcome your questions, comments, clarifications. Again, as I always say, grand, complex, simple, we welcome them using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya. Stay with us, but we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are glad you are still keeping us company here on Good Morning Kenya. And just to continue with our second health item for today, this is all about colon hydrotherapy, also known as the large intestine cleansing. Basic language to help you understand this conversation and to help us understand the medical backing behind it. We have with us in studio Beryl Awinja Sakwa, who is a colon hydrotherapist. Now, getting back to where we were and just looking at the Kenyan space, we want to go to the basics. So let us start by going back to high school biology and understanding how the digestive system works up until we end up at the colon.
First and foremost, all of us need to understand that the moment we put something into our mouth, that's when now the process of digestive system starts. By the fact that we eat so much food in a day, and some of us forget that when we are eating that food is going to affect our overall health, probably by the way we are chewing very fast or swallowing the food without putting into consideration that my not chewing food thoroughly well is going to affect the whole process of digestion and how it's going to land finally into the colon, and the impact it will have if it stays in the colon longer than it should, and cause us to suffer more illnesses and problems. So I'd advise that when we are starting to eat our food, first we must chew it thoroughly, and we are chewing, we take time so that it can be able to allow the digestive enzymes in the system also to work on the food that we have put in our mouth to be well digested, so that by the time it leaves the small intestines and is sent to the cecum, or the starting point where the ascending colon is, or the colon is, it has been well chewed, and the small intestines have been able to absorb what it should be able to absorb from that.
So chewing is the first step in the digestive process.
Yes.
Chew your food properly.
Yes.
Hata kama mchele tunamezanga bila kutafuna.
We need
guilty as charged.
Yes, we need to chew, because even rice takes more days to be able to be digested than some normal foods or vegetables.
Oh, wow.
So we need to chew it and not just swallow it. So if we don't chew our food well during this whole process, then we are going to lose nutrients, or the waters that we need to absorb in the colon.
Yes.
Or the B7 or the the vitamin B or the vitamin K that we need to get from the foods that we have chewed. And they are also going to serve different good purposes to our overall health.
Okay.
So once we have chewed our food well and it is well digested, then now we'll not have problems that arise from the colon. What are these problems that are arising from the colon that is impacted or has poor bowel function? We are going to suffer from things like the constipation, indigestions. Some people will have even headaches, insomnia, they'll not sleep very well. You'll not have energy that you need. When you're waking up, you feel like you're tired. And you will have also some infections and diseases that arise just because one person, or Beryl as a person, did not consider what is going to happen when I put my food in my mouth and the digestion process starts.
Okay. Now, looking at an average person, before we even get to understand the procedure in itself, which is what is running on your screens, you will be taking us through that in a bit, but looking at an average human being, how many times in a day or in a span of 24 hours are we normally supposed to go for a number 2 TV-friendly language, or rather long calls?
Yes. Anytime we eat our food, it should trigger some bowel movement, or it should cause us to go for a long call. But in many cases, some people even take a week or a week plus before they go.
Yes.
Some people will go once in alternative days, and some people will go 3 times in a day. Now people will ask, so which one is the right one? But in a week, if you are not able to have your bowel movement more than 3 or 4 times in a week, and a proper one, not just small tiny movements, then you are going to have a problem. But it's standard that we all must have some bowel movement after we eat some food, because every given time there is more than 3 sittings of waste in our system after 3 sittings of waste of equal amounts of food that we have eaten in our system or in our colon. So we need to keep on flushing it. When we eat new fresh food, then the old putrid waste in our system or in the colon should be
pushed out.
Yes, flushed out.
All right.
And that can only be flushed out if we are taking care of our colon by eating the right nutrient and the right diet. We have a right diet that we are taking. We have a combination of enough water that we are drinking in a day. We are not eating under stressful moments or stressful habits and environments, as you put it, because if you start eating when you're stressed, then even your digestion will be affected. If you eat and you don't drink enough water, then also your food that you're taking is going to be also affected in one way or the other. So we need to ensure that when we are taking care of ourselves and our eating, and we need to have a good optimum health, we need to consider all these facts.
All right. Yes. Now let's get to the hydrotherapy process in itself. Just before somebody goes through this process, what do they need to prepare themselves physically? How do you need to prepare for hydrotherapy session?
For you to prepare for hydrotherapy session 1 is just to come in a relaxed state, number 1. And then we also say hours before your therapy, which is just going to infuse water in and flushing out, we advise you don't eat heavy. Because when you
approximately how many hours?
At least a minimum of 2 hours. You shouldn't eat heavy. If you drink more liquids or drink more water, it is more beneficial for that treatment.
It's encouraged.
Yes, than eating heavy food, because the moment we start infusing water in, you will feel uncomfortable. So you don't eat so much before the treatment, and just come relaxed. And you don't need to come worrying that you're going to be put under some operation. It's just you lying on the table and us chatting and seeing what is going out of your system. So it's basically not something that someone should sit and start saying that I need to prepare, I might go there, die, and
I
not
need to get some counseling before and after.
It's just as simple. It's just you going for your bowel movement. It's only that I'm helping you to elongate it in a period of time, in a longer period of time.
All right. Yes. Now, the process in itself, how does it happen? As we are chatting, as you rightfully put it, how does it happen, or what can one expect when they have gone for this particular therapy? And maybe my director, you can also help us with the pictorial and the video footage to assist in this conversation.
Yes. Normally, someone just comes in, we change you into comfortable attire or wear, and then you lie on the table, which is the bed. Normally we'll call it a table, but it's the bed. And then when you're lying on the table, you could be on the side or lying on your back. So we are just massaging your stomach, infusing water in, and then pumping it out, and you are chatting. Some people will be chatting, some people will be sleeping, some people will just be looking with me at what is coming out, and then we are reading into what, as I read the waste or the gas or the state of the matter that is coming out from you, I can be able to advise you.
And so, from what we can see on the screen, you've mentioned you massage the stomach area.
Yes.
How does that assist in the entire process?
Massaging the stomach area helps to loosen and break some of the compacted waste, and also helps to push, because we are walking literally along the colon as we massage the stomach, so that we can loosen, mix the water that has been there, so that we allow it to soak what is there and then flush it out eventually.
All right. Now, are there people that are restricted from getting this kind of procedure done? Are there any predisposing or contraindications that a certain group of people cannot undergo this particular therapy?
Yes. In as much as we have so many benefits of colon hydrotherapy, helping with like we've mentioned, indigestion, constipation, high blood pressure control, arthritis, lower back problems, insomnia, and other related infections or lifestyle illnesses, there are also contraindications of colon hydrotherapy. If you're suffering from cirrhosis, severe liver problems, you cannot do colon hydrotherapy. If you are 1 to 3 months pregnant, for ladies, you cannot do colon hydrotherapy, because at that period of time the baby is forming. If you are just coming from recent surgery, let's say it's 6 months, and you had some stitches and so forth, we need them to heal before you do colon hydrotherapy. If you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, we can do that. Fissures and fistula for ladies, we can do that. Severe hemorrhoids, that means maybe they can be internal and inflamed, we can be able to do colon hydrotherapy. And if you are epileptic, we don't know when it will strike. So we try not to do colon hydrotherapy, among a few other things that are contraindicated.
Now, when it comes to the procedure in itself, that's on your screen, that's just an image of how the whole large intestine presents itself. And looking at what we are seeing on the screens, I heard you mention impacted colon.
Yes.
Help us better understand what that means in line with what we are seeing on our screens. We can see products coming out of from them, passing through that tube over there.
Yes.
So when you talk about an impacted colon, what exactly are you referring to?
Impacted colon means that the colon that is full. And why is it full? It's full because you are not able to flush out the way you should normally. It means maybe you're going and flushing a bit, but even when you're done going, you still feel that something was supposed to come out, but it didn't. So it's retained in there. And then you add food, and then it sticks in the colon longer and more, just keep on piling up until they can fill up the colon. So that is why now we have those conditions I've listed that can be affected with an impacted colon. So the process of now trying to break and flush out that impacted colon or the full colon is now the process of us introducing water step by step with the controlled pressure, so that the water comes in, and it normally just seeps in. You can't feel it. It's not like when you open a tap and you feel like it's pouring on you. No. It just seeps in, and then you feel like the urge of going, but we keep on releasing, because with the machine or the instrument, I am the one controlling the filling of the water and flushing in out of the water. Because when you feel a little bit of pressure, like you really want to go, that means something wants to come out. So we just bring in water. When you feel that, we flush out. And even before some people feel, I'll feel it because of being used to it, and I can be able to feel what someone is feeling even before they say they want to go.
Oh wow.
Yes, and I can be able to feel if it's loosening or it's hard, and I need more time to deal with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, are there risks that have been known to be associated with this particular therapy?
There will be risks if I don't put into consideration contraindications. Like, let's say someone is just coming out of surgery and then I put them under colon hydrotherapy. It will be really like endangering that person's life and being unprofessional. But in such cases, for us to avoid the risks, we do a thorough consultation. So we need to know your diet and lifestyle, and then we need to know your health and any medication you are on. And then we need also to feel us and tell us if you have any contraindications or not, so that we advise at that point. There are people who come in and then we stop the session at the consultation level. We tell you, we are sorry, we are not able to offer you this, but we can advise and give advice over some therapies they can do. If it's herbal therapy, you can try, or refer you to a doctor that we are able to connect you with in regard to what you're feeling.
Okay. Yes. Now, once somebody has gone through this particular therapy, what are the immediate and gradual expectations that they can feel or expect post-therapy?
We see people coming there, and especially with a lot of, they haven't been going and they are so tired. Some of them are sick and on medication, and they can't even think straight, and they are worried and fearful and stuff like that. But what is so funny with colon hydrotherapy, immediately we flush out. And even when you're still on the table lying there, you start feeling some changes. If you're feeling like you're too bloated or flatulence or constipated, or even lower back problems, because most of the waste is pressing on your lower spine, then you start even feeling the relief even before the session is done. So, and when you are done and you go to sit also on the toilet and you're coming back, you will feel like you are a new person. As they say, we have so many testimonials, and you'll see that someone says, I feel light. Someone says, I feel more energetic. I have lost some inches. You see, I am feeling happy because I came to do this. Now I am like, even my headaches that I was feeling, I can see some relief in it. Those are immediate changes that people see. If there are people who are suffering from sick from infections, H. pylori, and you're suffering from you're diabetic and sugars are not balancing very well, and you're suffering from infections when you come for ladies and stuff like that, within a period of a week you'll see a lot of adjustment and improvement on those sicknesses and illnesses you're facing.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, could you, or from what you have seen interacting with the various patients who come for this particular therapy, is there a relationship between pot bellies and an impacted colon?
There is a relationship between our pot bellies, or even just what we appear to be looking like when we are dressing up, or you're tying you're putting on your belt and stuff like that. It's believed that we carry in between, or we walk with in between 3 kgs to 13 kgs of waste
in our
body,
and mostly the large intestine.
Yes, so it's just sitting there in the colon, and that affects so much of how we are going to burn the fats, because even we are not able to assimilate the right nutrients because of the putrid waste that is poisoning the bloodstream and other organs of the body. So we are not able to burn the fats. So in as much as we could be fatty, we also have a lot of waste in
our body.
So cleansing the colon will help us to be able to assimilate the right nutrients, so that we can be able to burn the fats, and as well flush out so much of that junk of waste that is sitting in there, and will cause us to at least lose some inches. And if we are going for a gym, we are going to the gym to do some exercises to lose weight, or we are taking detox juices so that we can cut weight and lose weight, or we are taking juices so that we have some good breath, or not sweating and it's smelly, or going to the toilet and it's stinking, then when we do this, it is able to help us.
All right. Now, due to the interest of time, maybe I could just ask rapid fire question. Number one, is the therapy painful?
No, it's not painful. Colon hydrotherapy is not painful. It's just like for you going for your bowel movement.
Okay.
The way you feel, in some cases, people might feel the way you feel when you have a diarrhea session. When the way you feel when you're having diarrhea. So that is how maybe bad it can be for some people. But in other cases, mostly it's just something that people just sit, lie on the table, and they are relaxed as you do this session. And when you get out of there, trust me, you have done colon hydrotherapy 1 to prevent infections. You don't have to be necessarily sick to come for colon hydrotherapy. You can come for colon hydrotherapy to cleanse your system, to be in optimum health, and to look more younger and rejuvenated. So you are just cleansing. And 2, you could be cleansing it to take care of the illnesses or lifestyle conditions that are affecting you.
All right.
Yes.
Now, number 2, how often can one have it done?
Depends with the situation or the case that is coming in. There are people like you might just come, you want a cleansing to just for optimum health and to get rid of infections or prevent infections in future. But we have cases where someone is on heavy medication and they are not able to go. They are so constipated, they take days and weeks before they go. So this person might not do it once. Because of that, they might do it severally. And then there are those cases who are young people. They are small and 8 years to about 13 years. They could also just do it once and then they...
All right. Finally, what are the financial responsibilities involved in one session that we need to prepare for, very briefly?
The financial implications in Kenya, most people think we are very expensive because we charge per treatment or session 9,000 shillings. And for a common mwananchi, it's not they are not able to afford, which is understandable. And that is why no wonder not many people are aware of colon hydrotherapy, because you only get the, let's say if you're classing people from class A, B, and C, you will only get mostly clients from class A and B. So it's unfortunate. I wish there was something we can do. But because importing those speculums, which are disposable, that we use for each insertion, are expensive. One of them just comes for 3,000 shillings when you are importing it. So it makes the whole cost expensive.
Now, we will be sure to have another session for this particular conversation. But for now, we have to put a cap at that particular point. point. This has been all about colon hydrotherapy. It is something that all of us as a people can benefit from. But then again, we are here to help you get the information that you need before you decide to venture into such. We have been speaking with Beryl Awinja Sakwa, who is a colon hydrotherapist. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
Thank you for hosting me. I really, truly appreciate it.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Now, with that, we want to wrap up today's program. Thank you so much for being part of Good Morning Kenya. We want to wish you a lovely day. God bless. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. I am Jain Wambui.